Kind of crazy when you try to
I'm
guess
Andre,
those.
also known as Medler.
And I'm Paul,
Medla.
aka Pabro. Today
Okay,
is
same
Thursday,
crew.
January 30th, and we're back for another dev update. We're going to check in on some of the changes we made for Season 1, and we'll talk a bit more about some of the things coming up in Act 2 of this season, which starts on March 6th. We're a bit over a month into the first...
Huh? 2 coming March 6th. Wait, am I crazy? What is he saying?
The changes we made for Season 1, and we'll talk a bit more about some of the things coming up in Act 2 of this season, which starts on March 6th.
Wait, wasn't it like in Act 2, not Season 2? Wait, so there are, what, 2 acts per split, and there are 3 splits in a season, and all 3 splits are 1 season, and it's all just, it doesn't fucking matter. So that's more Battle Pass related? I'm so fucking confused, because I think April 20th is the ending of the first split. So I'm like, what?
We're a bit over a month into the first season of 2025, and we've been following how changes have been landing closely. We've seen some really good signs and feedback to things like seasonal themes and some of the gameplay changes that we will touch on a little later.
But first, we want to talk about Hextech Chests, and more broadly, earning skins instead of buying them. This means we're going to talk a bit more about the business side of
Bring
League,
him back!
so that we can share more of our thinking.
Bring back the
context with you.
chests!
Now, our belief as a company is that delivering great experiences for you will lead to great results for Riot. We want to deliver the best experience we can, that you can play forever without spending anything, so that you only spend money when you think we've made something great that you want to spend money on.
As a free-to-play game, skins are the primary way League pays its bills. They're what give us the ability to continue to develop the
I can tell by their tone and the way they're trying to soften the blow, we ain't getting shit.
game and wider ecosystem, from adding new game modes to updates to Summoner's Rift, cinematics, live events like Worlds, patch-to-patch balance,
Okay.
and much longer-term investments in League for the future. The number of people playing League has been pretty stable over recent years, and we're really grateful for that. Our cost to maintain and develop League has also been pretty stable over time too, ensuring we have an equally sustainable income coming in to reinvest in the game. However, has been frankly
Okay.
more of a recent challenge.
And that's where free Hextech Chests come in. When we initially added them, we
Or
wanted to
come
offer
out.
additional reward for time spent, using something we knew many of you really cared about earning: skins. And for a while, we think that worked well for both players and the business side of League. Over time, though, free chests unintentionally became the primary way to unlock skins, and an increasing number of players ended up with substantial skin collections for free. This meant that purchasing skins...
Okay, to be fair, I'm gonna give this to Riot because I've never heard people really talk about this. I think the initial chest, like, I still don't believe the fact that they gave out so many free ways to get skins. Like, you were getting, like, obviously there's like a billion skins in the game, but the fact you can get chests just by like playing a different champ and then open it up and actually randomly end up with a skin is pretty kind of remarkable. I'm not gonna lie, given that they want to charge every single one.
directly didn't make sense anymore to a lot of players, because they were happy just waiting to get something eventually. That did lead to a great player experience, but it was not sustainable for League in the long term.
So we took a step back to evaluate League's reward systems and realized we needed to make changes to be sustainable for the long run. We didn't want to go all the way back to the early days of League with no skins earned with playtime at all, but we also realized we couldn't continue giving away as many as we were. We did a number of other things to ensure League's business was sustainable before concluding we needed to give away fewer skins. Increasing the number of skins we could make each year was good for both the business and the player experience, but eventually we ran into meaningful diminishing returns. We introduced premium cosmetics. We've also explored a lot of other cosmetic content types, and we'll keep trying to do so. But champion skins are clearly the thing most of you care about more than anything else when it comes to cosmetics. And obviously, adding pay for power content is a non-starter for us.
We know some of you aren't interested in
Obviously pay for power, but like they kind of have to state it because so like plus side thing on the ledger that they can have to leverage against the fact that they're taking away this the chest, which yeah,
the business side of things, or even cosmetics in general.
League would die out
And
if
that
you had
others
like
won't
power
believe this
for
isn't
money,
about
basically.
increasing profit year over year. This is about ensuring the sustainable long-term health of League, though. And we do hope this is helpful context for those of you who've been wondering what our thinking was with this change. We want to ensure League remains a great, fully free-to-play game. We believe a change like this, while unpopular, is the right call and allows us to deliver not just on our plans today, but also our plans for League in the future. Now, we'll be sure to give you more context on our thinking behind changes to skins and any other related systems in the future as well. And we're currently doing a lot of global surveying and discussion with players about what is and isn't working.
Speaking of which, we want to talk about some changes we have coming to Battle Passes. First up, we've got some improvements to the Battle Pass skins. We've heard a fair bit of feedback that those skins don't feel like they're good enough in various respects. We agree with a lot of that feedback. We're going to be looking to add more distinct visual effects and more pronounced model changes. We're also planning to deviate from a season's theme a bit for some future pass skins, given the risk we otherwise overdo the same sorts of visual appearances and/or pushing champions into themes that don't make sense.
Okay.
Now, because it takes some time to make or modify skins, those improvements
So did they mention, like, what are they, how are they replacing the Hextech Chest system? How are they replacing the system?
won't be present in the Act 2 Battle Pass skins that you'll see in a couple of weeks. They will, however, be fully reflected in the pass skins for
They're
season
just throwing it away cold turkey? Fuck, okay, we gotta listen to the entire thing. That can, go in with some thoughts, because,
2, which starts in May. Additionally, if you don't already own the champion for the Battle Pass skins, unlocking the skin will also unlock that champion for you.
We also want to clear up how skins in the Battle Pass affect the champion's skin cooldown. We don't look at past skins when deciding when a champion is due to get their next regular skin. So if Alistar appears in the Act 2 Battle Pass, he can still receive another skin later this year. Another improvement we're making to the Battle Pass is to the missions that feed into it. Looking at your feedback, certain types of missions are pretty unpopular. We're going to be removing missions that require playing with purchase skins or players who have purchased specific skins.
We're also removing and reworking missions that players were having a hard time completing, like destroy 5 turret plates in a single game, which was hard to complete for many players and impossible for ARAM-only players. And for those of you who play a mixture of League and Teamfight Tactics,
just get better
we'll be roughly
ARAM
doubling
players.
the amount of XP that TFT contributes to the League Battle Pass.
Now, with that said, let's hand things over to Matt and Eduardo to talk about gameplay.
So that's it.
Hey, friends.
They're done with the chest. That's it. So, okay. So they're basically just taking them away in the favor of going for Battle Pass. Now, there are two ways of looking at this, and you kind of have to look at it from a company's perspective and from a player perspective. Now, it's understandable. I honestly, like, it's kind of cool the fact how many skins they've given thus far for free, just opening up chests, which is a really, really cool thing about the game. So maybe there's a chance that we're flooding. Obviously, the longer the game goes, more of the same players are circulating, and they don't really buy skins, because they generally have the skins that they want. And obviously, new ones are being released, but you can't compare it to like a new player potentially coming in and making more money. So you can tell how in the lifespan of the game, it's eventually going to lower the revenue, which I think is the leading cause of why they wanted to do the premium skins, like the $250, $500. Those are the ones that came in because they want to tap into that collectionist mentality. Like, people are trying to be collecting all of the skins before. So if you have a bunch, if you have like a lot of skins of single champion, you're kind of they're playing into that. So they're adding that to sell. Yeah, premium fear of missing out mentality, basically. Yeah, just trying to get you to buy those. So I'm guessing that's their new form of revenue stream, and then the new one would be like the Battle Pass, and they're trying to get people into Battle Pass because it's more like a subscription sort of thing than just the skins. Now I think they probably missed on the equation, like what happened here. They probably missed with the equation because okay, if you want to get people to purchase skins that are like in these certain boxes, right? There is the optimal formula how to get the max money out of it. And it's not to give 0 free skins. I'm pretty sure the optimal formula would be to give you a couple of skins here and there, so you get addicted to the opening aspect of it, but not get what you want. So you want to keep rolling, I'm pretty sure, I don't play gacha games, but I'm pretty sure gacha games got this down to the fucking T. They have the whole psychology and science behind this. They know exactly what are the numbers that they have to give you. So the free skins should exist in some form. I think they just missed the algorithm, they missed the mark on their system, and they gave a bit too much. But also, I think they're seeing diminishing returns, and I don't think they're factoring in properly the fact that some people are just never going to buy skins. And that's going to be majority of people. Majority of people will just not buy skins. I think they're looking at the numbers of totaling, how many skins people unlock for free. And, you'll see somebody who's grinding the game all the time and getting a bunch of fucking skins. If they look at the stats for my account, you'll almost never see purchases. but they will see me getting fucked on skins because I like roll those skins, you know. I'll just do like those 3 fucking rolls, and I'll never play the skin in my life, you know. I'll just get it. So those are probably skewing the numbers quite heavily, but I wouldn't buy them anyway. That's like nothing lost from the company. I would never purchase that skin ever, right? But I do get it randomly from like the 3 skin reroll. So maybe they're not factoring that in properly. But then again, like they probably missed the mark on the algorithm. They gave out a little bit too much, so they're trying to tone it back. But they should have toned it back. Yeah, like I really think they should have toned it back though. So the one potential play that they're doing here that I can envision is credit cold turkey completely, let a couple of months sizzle, and on like Act 2-3 or like Split 2-3, bring it back to like farm up a lot of good graces with the community and be like, oh, we're generous for bringing it back. I feel like that might be a thing, because if you decide to remove them and then instantly revert, you're essentially admitting a horrible mistake, and people will still give you shit for it. So I think the optimal option here for them is to bait it out a little bit and then bring it back with lower capacity, or like a lower chance of getting legendaries, or like, you know, just tightening the screw a little bit. But yeah, I don't know like how the formula of not getting skins is gonna work at all. I really don't know how that's gonna work. No, this is not copium. This is just like they're trying to get into the corporate greed side of things, of the like how corporations think. So I'm not really sure. Like, I'm pretty sure they're going to be very disappointed from this, because first of all, they're annoying a lot of the audience. They're alienating a lot of the audience. Some of them will decide to boycott. People are already spamming Hextech Chests on the Twitter. But on the other hand, like, if you give out 0 free shit, like, I don't know what's the free way to get it. You guys said there are no chests at all. So how do you get free skins now? How can you get it? And again, I think they're missing the mark on the formula. If you can't get them at all, you're still missing the mark on the formula of optimal revenue stream. Because you want to give some free to give people the taste of achieving skins and getting them. And when they try it out, they will want to try out something new, because they will enjoy that skin. They will associate it with positive, like very, very positive feedback, and they'll have fun with it, and they will want a new one. That's what they want to tap into. So, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they have to give chests at some point. Like, somehow. If they don't, it's just really, really weird. 2 skins per 6 weeks, one of which is shit and the other can be better than Epic. Wait, but that's Battle Pass. Do you have to buy that? Is that free Battle Pass or what? How does that work? On the free Battle Pass, you get 2 skins. You get 2 for free if you grind out some missions. So I guess they don't need to bring the chest back. They're fully pivoting to that sort of system with the Battle Pass. So they're trying to give you the taste of the grind. Okay, so that feels more like a very cheesy psychological trick, which a lot of the gacha games do employ. Which is, okay, you grind, you get the first one, kind of alright, then you grind a lot more to get the second one, and then you're locked out, essentially. Or, like, or make it even, like, more difficult to get, like, the third and the fourth. Like, you can even give 5 free, 6 free, 7 free, but just make it more and more difficult, so it gets tedious and people will want to pay for it to get it cheaper, to get it, like, easier. The random one you can't reroll. It's weird. I don't like the system. I don't know. I'm skeptical about if it's gonna make them more money. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about it.
I'm Eduardo, Riot Cadmus Cortejoso.
And I'm Riot
Cortejoso.
Proxima. Just as a heads up, it's playtest time right now, so things might be a little loud. But we have a few things to discuss today. First, I want to talk a bit about how some of our gameplay changes we added in January have landed. Let's start by talking about one of the biggest changes that we saw a lot of conversation around, Feats of Strength. As a reminder, Feats of Strength were introduced to provide more structure to the early game and defer some of that early game snowballing until after laning phase by moving the immediate power of First Blood and First Turret to later in the game. These were a bit rough around the edges on release,
right.
And
yeah, you're right. It's not quite close to gachas, because players won't buy. Additionally, gachas are connected to power levels, so like you want to be grinding, but in gachas you get characters, not skins. That is true. That is true. I wonder, well, like, I mean, we'll know in about 2-3 months. Companies are pretty quick to measure up their revenue. Like, they're already sniffing out how much revenue stream there is and how much less there is. I'm assuming they're expecting a tiny dip at the start because people are going to be mad, and there might be a bit of a surge back up because there's no more free way to get the skins, and then depends where it stabilizes, and that's going to influence their next decision.
that we saw a lot of conversation around: feats of strength. As a reminder, feats of strength were introduced to provide more structure to the early game and
Okay.
defer some of that early game
Great choice.
snowballing until after laning phase.
I'm
by
super
moving
happy about the
immediate
addition,
power
yep.
of First Blood and First Turret to later in the game.
Yep.
These were a bit rough around the edges on release, and we made some adjustments to things, like changing the feat of Warfare from First Blood to First 3 kills, and nerfing Triumphant Boot stats. They're currently in a stable place we're quite happy with. As for
I agree.
snowballing, our goal was to keep it roughly where it was before Season 1 went live. We've been comparing this game state with pre and post changes based on First Blood, First Turret, epic objectives taken, and game length. As of now, we haven't seen significant changes, and snowballing is roughly equal to where it was at the end of last year. There are still some improvements we'd like to make, of course, but overall, the changes are moving the game in the intended direction. Next up, let's discuss Artican and the Blood Roses he brought to the Rift. Artican was added to provide an objective in the mid-game that has rewards worth fighting for, progresses the game,
See what they say about
but
the
doesn't
roses.
completely blow everything open like a 20-minute Baron would.
Really? Voracious doesn't blow it open?
We also wanted a way to incentivize teams to fight each other in slower games while not speeding up already fast ones, which is what led to the two different forms.
That's why Ruinous is so fucking good, man. Ruinous is good because it baits another fight, another team fight, and something to dance around, but its power is mostly fake, and a lot of it can be split up. Like if you're fighting there, you can steal a couple of roses, you get like 5-10 stacks away from them, and you basically negate the value of it. So I think it's really cool, but the Voracious just breaks the fucking game. I do believe they're nerfing it though. I think I read somewhere that they're gonna make it like way slower now, so it's not a tempo cheat. Alright, let's see if that's correct.
One which incentivizes action, and the other that lightly stalls it. That said, we think Voracious Artican's rewards are too strong in game warping.
Yeah.
So next patch, we're increasing the withdrawal time to 15 seconds to give defending
It's 5
players
now.
a bit more
Okay, so it's no longer a super tempo cheat, because what I would do, like you can literally run it down, especially if you're running teleport. You go in, get an objective, die, TP back in. Now, let's examine this. This is like the worst usage of the Voracious Artican, right? Let's presume like the super terrible usage. You go in, you fight the enemies, you're ahead obviously because you got it. You fight the enemies, you do nothing but get them to like 50% HP and then die. Okay? So you come out of the base and then you win the next objective for absolutely free because they lost the HP, they lost the resources, they lost the summoners, ults like to try to kill you. All they have to show for it is 200 gold. So you just tempo cheated the entire fucking game and they can contest the next dragon or the Baron or whatever the fuck you're contesting. That is the worst usage of Voracious, and in many more cases, it just breaks the game wide open. You trade 1 for 1, banger. You destroy an objective and die, banger, right? Like, it's just win-win fucking scenario. It's not punishable. You can't play tactically around Voracious. The tactic around is to play safer and time it out. It lasts too long, so they just dive the fuck out of you on every single side. Like, they get bolstered up, they can do 1-3-1, they do whatever kind of crazy engage they want, and it doesn't matter. Because every action on the map costs tempo, and that's what they didn't factor in. You just, like, even if all of you just go in and, like, push out the waves and do something a little bit and die, like, you still got tempo on the map. You still come back and the map is yours. You really can't fuck it up. You can, like, mismanage its potential or not like close out a game as perfectly as you should with it, but you just can't fuck it up. Whereas Ruinous is way more tactical. It's very cool. There are two aspects to it, like the dragon stacking aspect that can benefit, that it can enhance, and then you got the roses, which is really interesting sort of setup. And I like that. Voracious is just, I wonder how it's going to be now with the 15 seconds. 15 seconds is definitely going to be decent time, but not enough to be the death timer. So it will still get a bit of tempo cheat, but not too much, probably. It still will be better than Ruinous, I imagine. Because it's going to mask your shutdowns as well. Like, you can be worth 1,000 gold, go in, die, and it's 200. And then you reset again. Especially if you're running teleports. You'll probably be winning, but not as crazy.
more time to recover after forcing enemies to withdraw. Next up, we have the Blood Roses, which we introduced alongside Artican. After the nerfs last month, we like where Blood Roses are for now, and that they reward teams for proactively controlling these spaces. Another big component of our seasonal changes was the Noxian update to the Rift. We're excited to keep doing these for future seasons, but we definitely want to make sure we're doing them right. We've seen a lot of your feedback around the map feeling too dark, gloomy, or ice draining, and we've got some changes in the works
It's
to
a bit
address
too
these
red.
concerns that should be ready with Act 2's release.
Nice.
We're excited about the prospect for new gameplay that the Season 1 changes have created as players continue to learn and adapt to them. Having said that, when trying to add new gameplay to League, especially ones of this size, we're not always going to land it right away. We're trying to strike the balance between making quick changes based on your feedback and giving the changes enough time to breathe while we iterate them to a pot where everyone is happy with. We've got more details breaking down our review of the Season 1 changes in a dev blog out now, so make sure to give them a read.
We also wanted to give a quick update for all you Swifties in our newest queue, Swiftplay. We hoped that Swiftplay would be at least as popular as QuickPlay,
Swiftplay, the sponsor of the dumb stream earlier today.
and it has far exceeded our expectations. We're currently figuring out how and when to bring it to regions that don't quite have it yet. So far, Swiftplay has hit the goals we set for it, with game endings on average 4 to 5 minutes faster than SR. We also wanted to reduce snowballing, the rubber banding mechanics, allowing players to hit their full builds more often, and allowing players to enjoy a game of League of Legends with friends of higher skill gaps.
When it comes to balance, we're pretty happy with the early and mid game, but endgame pacing and outlier game lengths are issues we want to address. Swiftplay just doesn't hit our goals for the queue when games aren't swift, and everyone is stuck at level 18 trying to close out the game for a long time. We've made some changes, such as minions getting stronger more quickly, tower resistances falling off sooner, as well as making structures slowly burn towards the Nexus, forcing the game to end. This will essentially mean that if a game lasts long enough, the team that can make the most progress towards the enemy Nexus will win. We're also
Wait, is this sudden death? Does it burns?
and everyone is stuck at level 18 trying to close out the game for a long time. We've made some changes, such as minions getting stronger more quickly,
That's
tower
kinda cool
resistances
idea.
falling off sooner, as well as making structures slowly burn towards the Nexus, forcing
So structure slowly burning. I kind of like that. It also fits in with the theme of the Noxus. You know, everything's on fire. I'm kind of imagining it as like the ending of Sekiro, where everything's on fire. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Then you're like, the stress is going. You're trying to break the enemy base while adding fuel to the fire. You know, it's cool idea for Swiftplay.
the game to end.
I like
This
that.
will essentially mean that if a game lasts long enough, the team that can make the most progress towards the enemy Nexus will win.
Holy fuck!
also
Swiftplay is gonna kill League of Legends. I mean, they usually don't release like these newer modes that much because they have a chance of killing ranked. If they lose the ranked addicts, they lose everything. I don't know. Swiftplay might take away all the semi-casuals, you know? Ranked is gonna be nothing but super toxic people. Because all the normal people are either gonna quit the game or play Swiftplay.
Going to be looking at what we can do to improve things like matchmaking or lobby improvements for pre-mades, and we'll let you know if we do anything there. These changes should be live by the time this video goes live, so let us know what you think.
Next, we want to talk to you a bit more about what you can expect when Arena returns in Act 2 of this season.
Okay.
As we mentioned in the last dev update, we want to make sure game
Swiftplay vote is 3 out of 5. Never mind, burn Swiftplay. Burn it to the ground. It's a mistake. Demolish it. What the fuck is the whole idea is that it's Swift. That it ends quickly. Why would you need 3 out of 5? If the game's gonna end super quick. Especially with a sudden death. Like you can make a comeback. He's like, what the fuck? Whatever.
modes are something a player can always count on being available, making them a fun part of each season. For Season 1, we've moved Arena from the Rings of Wrath to the Grand Reckoning, new maps and all. As you can see, we've overhauled all the maps to feel like you're in the fighting pits of Noxus.
I like it.
And we didn't just reskin the maps, we actually made some improvements. Here's a new version of the Koi Pond map. The biggest change you'll notice here is the giant ring that goes around the perimeter of the map.
I got the people
aptly named
watching.
the ring, which will help address a lot of the quality of life issues. This was actually inspired by some player feedback that we read. So shout out to the community for your awesome suggestions, and as always, please keep them coming. We also have a brand new map joining the pool, the Reckoner Arena, which features destructible pillars, which will collapse upon
like
taking
this.
enough
It's
damage
cool.
and slightly tweak the terrain. Don't worry though, they're relatively
This is cool. I feel like these can block projectiles and you're gonna have a very, very fun top-down game.
small and you won't obscure your vision.
Another part of Arena we've been working on is progression systems that we're really excited about. Not only do Champion Mastery and the Seasonal Battle Pass both progress with Arena games now, but we also built a new Fame system for Arena. Many of you mentioned that you didn't feel like you had a reason to keep coming back to Arena, So Fame was designed to keep Arena fresh and interesting, even after you've played dozens of games. You can gain fame by playing Arena, increasing your notoriety within the fighting pits, or by completing Arena missions for each champion. Just to be clear, this isn't like Swarm where you gain power by progressing. Instead, you'll gain rewards like new augments or match intro visuals that should keep Arena feeling exciting.
We're also trying something new by skipping cameos this go around and
Okay, cameos sucked anyway. Wait, if I got this right, so there will be augments that you cannot get unless you do certain unlocks and you play a lot of game, and then you get more augments. Kind of like a roguelike, when you did, like, get new weapons, but not necessarily get like base power on your character. But I mean, inherently how the game works, if you get more augments, that will create more possibilities and more builds, which means more power. Because you have like more dynamic ideas there. So even though it's technically like not more power, just having more augments, I mean, more augments can make you weaker even because you're less likely to get the ones that you want if you wanted the ones previously. But if you have more options, you have more potential power, if that makes sense. I think it's a decent balance, because who cares about like competitive arena? I don't think it's going to skew the skill too much, but also keep it fresh. It's an alright sacrifice, I think.
celebrating Arena Noxus style by bringing in the Guests of Honor. These guests are famous Noxians or Reckoners looking to spice up your fights. Each guest will have a specific rule that they'll apply to the entire game. For example, Mordekaiser will make it so that at the beginning of each round, one player on each team.
Wait, now I'm thinking, what if they make the augments kind of like the collectible cards, and you start off with a base set, and you can kind of replace which augments are you looking for. So the augments aren't based on your champ type, but you can force any augments you want, but like obviously of a pool of like 40, 50, right, that you can get. And you can get like some rare ones, some ultra rare ones, and then put them into your list of like active ones if you slot in. So when you want to do some funny builds, you can do weird setups based on the augments that you have, but you still have like a good enough pool that it feels somewhat random, you know? But still kind of dictate the general direction where your augments are going to go. And I feel like that'll be a cool system. And it will force people to play more to unlock more. Kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh sort of deal.
Team starts combat in the Death Realm. We designed the Guest of Honor with a lot of learnings from cameos in mind. So each guest should feel like they affect each team equally without being too intrusive or unfair, yet still asking players to learn or adapt to them. They also won't be random either. So everyone in the lobby will have a round in which they can vote on which guests they'd like to invite.
No, like it's not gonna make people play more or not at all. I feel like that's not a thing. Because Arena is just so enticing anyway that people want to try it. They really want to try it. Now you just have to make the transition of like starting with the initial pack to unlocking more augments very satisfying. I imagine that'd be really cool, because after the first game, you're supposed to unlock like 1 or 2 new more augments that you can swap out. And the more you play, the less of them you get, obviously. And you can look for some ultra rare ones. I don't know. I kind of like that idea.
As always, let us know how you like it.
There are some downsides.
It also wouldn't be an Arena re-release without some new augments, so make sure to keep an eye out for those alongside the return of Curse augments. If you're interested in more details about Arena, make sure to check out the dev blog that just came out today. And I can't wait to see you all in the fighting pits.
All right, we also have a few other updates that we want to share with you all today. We finally got those updated Champion Mastery emotes coming out in March. They've taken a lot longer than we'd hoped.
I forgot about this.
Them, though. The Blue Essence Emporium will also be making a return at the start of April. And as a reminder, the next Battle Pass will include the increased Blue Essence amounts that we shared earlier in January, which you can also get for this current pass.
Oh yeah, it was like some minuscule big.
On a different topic, we've got a test of the matchmaking system called True Skill 2 coming up. We're going to be trying True Skill 2 for Swiftplay and ARAM games from late February onwards for a while. We think True Skill 2 has the potential to help us get players to a fair and appropriate matchmaking rating.
I like the fact that they're testing it. It's obviously not quite analogous, but I like the fact that they're testing it out. Because it's gonna, and if they notice later on that improves their matchmaking accuracy, they can softly try to implement it to ranked and see how it works. I'm still very skeptical about how it works, but we did read the paper about the True Skill and how it worked. So, like, you're kind of just gambling on the power of the invisible black box AI machine learning gods, you know, you're just letting your fate to them. And who knows, like, it might work. Like, for example, YouTube algorithm is just fucking phenomenal. TikTok algorithm is fucking phenomenal. these algorithms are so god tier that they know what you want before you know that you want to see it. They're so good at reading what you want. So maybe True Skill 2 happens to be that sort of thing for matchmaking. It places you where you belong. But yeah, I feel like it can produce a lot of negative consequences if it works, or perceived negative consequences. Because if it works very well, you will quicker be sorted to where you belong. Okay? Which means you might climb up slightly faster than you would before, which means you will start getting 50% win rate a bit earlier than you would before, making you feel like you're being placed with shittier teammates because of it, because just enemies are close in skill at that point. Because the whole point of, like, people forget about this, that's why they believe in loser queue. The whole point of matchmaking system is to put you in a 50% win rate. And that's not by black magic or like voodoo and like calling like Chinese agents to go and log into your team and like run you down. The point is to be so evenly skilled that the chance of the game to win is like 50-50 either team. That's the idea of the matchmaking. So if the True Skill 2 is actually better, it's going to make people feel worse about it because they will earlier plateau and hit the 50% earlier. That's such a fascinating I didn't even think about it before. That means that like people are going to absolutely fucking hate it. So the good thing about True Skill 2 is we'll know it works if people hate it. Like if people immediately start hating it and invoking more loser cute conspiracy theories, that would mean that it works. Fucking hell. That's an interesting train of thought. Yeah, I'm excited. Let's keep it up.
Much quicker than our current implementation can. Given how important matchmaking is to competitive games like League, though, we want to test and verify first before going really broad with it. So we'll run the test for a while, and then let you know how it's been going and what our next steps are or aren't. This work on matchmaking, however, has meant a trade-off to work elsewhere, to Clash specifically, because the team doing that work is the same team that would otherwise be supporting Clash. For now, as a result, Clash will occur every 2 months instead of monthly.
And last for this section, a bit of context on streamer mode that recently went out. That's been a long requested feature from some players who stream. Given it's one of the things that can help reduce incidents of stream sniping and other forms of streamer harassment or disruption. It's clearly not a solve by itself, but we do think it's a useful part of a wider and ongoing effort. We also wanted to take a moment to talk about what you can expect after we leave Noxus. Historically, our mid-year events have been mostly a time for some levity and lightheartedness, like Star Guardian or Anima Squad. And while this may not be the case for each year's second season, we want Season 2 of 2025 to be a bit of a palate cleanser.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit chill.
Now, that said, you can still
There's going to be a goofy season
that spans things like map art, updates, a new champion, skins, and more. We don't want to spoil what's in store just yet, and we've still got some fun focus on Noxus ahead of us for now. But we'll be back in our next dev update, where we'll dive into what you can expect in Season 2. That's about it for this.
Is it going to be like Ionia? I feel like it's a perfect balance of chill and like something new and different. But if they do that like every time, like they're going to run out of them really quickly. Or are they going to like revisit? I don't know. Interesting stuff. What do you guys think about this?